and welcome back to Four Corners of the Galley. I'm your host PBO, and you're joining me on another edition of our Atlanta Robbin season recap. This week we're on episode 3, and we're on Money Bag Shawty. So without further ado, let's kick this sucker off. So this week, episode 3 starts off, and we had this young lady come on the screen, and she's basically doing an Insta story, and she sits there and starts telling us about this Insta story that she's listening to the radio, and she hears Paperboy's song. And she's very concerned about Paperboy's song and can't believe they're playing this on the radio. So she goes, and then she's about to start telling her story, and right before she starts to recite each lyric, she looks back at her daughter and goes, "You okay, sweetheart? Everything all right?" So let's get this right. This lady is complaining that the lyrics of a song that she's about to repeat right now, that her daughter heard, that she's about to say in her own words in front of her daughter, is okay? Yeah. That's the crazy part. So she goes and reciting these lyrics and having this expression on her face like the whole world's coming to win because this song is played. And then the best part is she's like, "Oh, and I haven't even gotten to the worst part." And then she starts reciting more. And obviously what she was referencing is at the end of that song and the lyrics, she goes, "And a shout out to Colin Kaepernick." Oh, and she holds her head over. Great moment. What a fascinating, fantastic start to this episode, showing social media and the influences and what happens. And then bam, the exact next scene is all the boys together at a bar celebrating that this song that she was complaining about just went gold because of her complaining about it. Talk about perfect symmetry. Man, what a way to kick this episode off and get us rolling right off to the back. So that happens. We meet the guys. They're chilling at this bar. They're drinking shots. They're doing their little thing and having a good time. And then the waiter shows up and he's like, "Hey, man, I got some free shots for you. Here's some, what do you say? It's some, I forgot what he said. I think it was tequila or something." He goes, "Yeah, here's some free shots for you." He's like, "Thanks, man. I appreciate it." It's like, "Yeah, I might even take one with you." So he ends up taking a shot with them. And then he goes, "Hey, you Paperboy, right?" And he starts to try to talk to Paperboy. Ern tries to intercept the guy, and the guy just shuts down Ern like he doesn't even exist. And the next thing he says to Paperboy is, "Put me on." Just showing how this generation and what's going on now, how basically they don't want to put on work, they just want to be put on. They want to find someone who's already doing it and be put on the game by them, and so they can get the cheat way in. I mean, it was just a great scene. That kicks out. They doing their little thing, and then boom, we're going to get to the split up. So at this point, they're together, they do their little thing, and now we're going to do our split up part. So we go, you got Ern and Van about to go on their little fun, and then you got Paperboy and Darius about to do their thing. So we're going to start with Ern and Van. So Ern and Van, basically, it's kind of like a parallel to Season 1, Episode 3, Go for Broke, which in that episode, Ern's trying to take Van out on a nice date, and he's got zero money to use on this date, and he's trying to figure out a way to finesse his ability to take his baby mama, his girl, on a date without any money. So when he first arrives at her house the next time, when she first arrives back at her house with their daughter, she's pissed at him in Season 1, Episode 3. She's pissed at him. She's yelling at him, telling him, "Why don't you do nothing? What's going on?" Yada, yada, yada. Then, in this season, the first time she sees him, she's like, "Hey, babe, how you doing?" And she's all in this great little happy mood, and she's happy to see him. They're having this little dialogue. She starts talking about her friend and how they're supposed to be going to some Beyonce concert, and then her friend ends up buying some VIP tickets, and she's like, "She's stunning on me." And that is basically the start and the premise of what this whole episode is about. It's about stunning. So Ern sits there and basically is telling her, like, "Look, I'm tired of getting stunted on. Everybody's been stunting on me. You got stunted on. Let's stunt on them this weekend." So she's like, "All right, you want to stunt?" He's like, "Yes, I want to stunt this weekend." So that kicks off their fun-filled date night that turns into just an absolute nightmare for Ern. So Ern goes to the movies with her, and they get up to the counter, and he's trying to pay for the movie. It's like $37. He busted out a $100 note trying to pay for the thing. Lady's like, "Sorry, sir, we don't accept those bigger bills." And he's like, "All right." So then he tries to give his ATM debit, not credit card. And she's like, "Oh, do you have ID?" He's like, "Oh, yeah, I got ID." And then she's like, "Okay, well, is it okay if we make a copy of your ID? Because, we're going to need to keep this on file just in case." And he's like, "What? You need to make a copy?" She's like, "Yeah, you don't have any tickets, right?" And she's basically like asking if this fool is a criminal, like, "You got any parking tickets, any outstanding warrants or anything of that nature?" And he's like, what the heck? No, I don't. want you making a copy of my ID and my debit card, and that can be all out in the public and everybody can get it. And she's like, oh yeah, we're also not responsible for that. So at this point, he's pissed off because he can't even see this movie. He's like, just forget it. Just give me this back. Let's go. And I was like, well, I can pay for it. He's like, no, let's just go. That was racist. I can't deal with this. Upstairs, this white man in this nice suit coat, and he pulls out $100 to pay for his tickets, and she's like, oh, okay. And Ern sees this, storms back to try to talk to this dude. Did you just pay with $100? And this dude, smooth, just pulls open the coat, showing the concealed. He got the concealed guns in there, like, do something, I dare. Basically, like, this lady would be a witness for me. I wish you would. Ern backs up so fast, quietly, he's gone. So they strike out part one. They hop in an Uber, and they're about to go off to a hookah lounge. You don't know they're going there, but they're in their Uber, and they're having their conversations about stuff. So they get to this hookah lounge, and they're about to get in, and starts all up again. Ern gets in there. Van goes in, no problem. She doesn't, shows ID. Ern walks up. He's like, I'm about to pat you down. All right. So they pat him down real aggressively. Then he tells him $20 for the fella. She's like, all right. So he gives him his 100. Gives him back his change. You're like, oh, cool. He's finally in. He's making some jokes. They sit down. They sit down for about all of 5 seconds, and the security rolls up and tells him, sir, you paid with a fake 100. I didn't pay with a fake 100. Yes, you did. Well, how do you know it was me? You're the only one who paid with 100. So they take him up, take him over to the owner. The owner is giving him the 1-2 like he's making this money in his basement or somewhere. He's like, look, you can see the water bottle. Now you put that there. What do you mean I put that there? You put that there. You ain't gonna trick me. He even tells Ern to rip up the money. I was like, I'm not gonna do that. He's like, nah, man. So he ends up giving his money back and leaving that place. And on the way out, security even stops him. And it was like, hey, man, I don't even know what's wrong with him. That was a real 100. He's just tripping. So Ern steps out. He's pissed off. This night's going all bad. He's in the parking lot. He's like, no, forget this. We're going to go someplace where my money's appreciated. She's like, really? She's like, yeah, we're going to go some. So you don't know what's going to happen, but we'll get back to that part next. We're going to stand over here and we're going to go start doing what Darius and Paperboy are doing. So, so Darius and Paperboy actually go see Clark County at the studio. And they're like, chopping up, trying to talk. So Paperboy rolls up. He's got a blunt roll for him. He's like, oh, yeah, I bought this for you. He's like, oh, no, man, I don't smoke. Oh, okay, no worries. All right, but I know you like that hen dog. And he's like, no, man, I don't even drink. So he's like, all right. He's like, well, I'm going to do my thing over here. Yeah, you do your thing. So you got this new age rapper who likes talking about that stuff but doesn't do that stuff. So he gets in the booth and starts to lay down some tracks. The engineers got the beat playing in the background. He's about to do his thing, and then all of a sudden the track goes dead, and he's like, "Oh my bad, man, the thing crashed. Got to update it." And just subtly, on like the side of his mouth, in like a mean but extreme asshole way, he's like, "Man, don't let that happen again. We're gonna have a problem." And he's just like, "All right, man, don't worry." You could see the connivingness in him, basically showing that this new style of rappers who try to act like they're hard and be something they're not are really not. They're not the ones that put in the work. It's their boys that put in the work. So they're having these conversations in there. They sit down. They see that he's got actual Harriet Tubman $20 bill, and he says like a collector's medal. They're goofing around with the money. They're having fun in there, and the engineer keeps messing up the stuff. So the engineer messes up again on another one of this track he's supposed to play back. And Clark County just sits there and tells his boy, hey, I'm going to go for a walk. He's like, all right. They just look at him. He gets up, strolls out, and it's like that was the signal. They already knew exactly what needed to be done. His boys get up, turn to Paperboy, go, I think it's time for you all to go home. They're like, oh, yeah. We're going to go. Yeah, we'll see you later. You already know what's going down. They don't even have to tell you. The next thing you know is they just cut out, and the engineer, poor boy, he going down. So, yeah, they definitely had some fun adventures on the side. So right after Ern and Van get kicked out of the hookah, he calls up Paperboy and tells him like, look, man, we're going to the strip club. We're going to do this right. We're going to go. He's like, all right, man, you go do that? Yeah, we're going to go. So he gets Darius. He rounds up Tracy, who's sleeping. He's already ready to go. Tracy ready to go. They come outside, and of course, here comes Ern pulling up in a stretch white limo, trying to stunt on people like it's no tomorrow, trying to really show that he's big time. So They get in there, they all hyped up. They stroll into the strip club. The strip club showing love to Paperboy, talking about his peoples is here, got a girl with him, and all these fools and stuff like that. So then, this is where Earn feels like he's gonna be respected. I got money. They gonna take care of me. We good. Of course, they start taking care of him. He gets a table. He's like, cool. He's like, I'm gonna need some ones. All right, go ahead to the bar. He goes to the bar. Can I get 100 ones? She's like, no, sweetheart. We only do 200 ones, and we take 20% off the top. So he's like, all right, no big deal. So he gets back 180 like that, and he's like, I guess whatever. And he gets finesse there. He's waiting. He's trying to walk back to his table. The DJ over there messing with him, telling him to throw some money out. Stop being a punk with your goofy ass clothes and looking like a fool. He's like, he tries to hurry by, gets back to the table. He's looking for the tequila. The tequila hasn't showed up. The girl's like, oh no, sweetheart, that's another $200 you have to give him. So then he has to pull out $200 more. And then Van goes, oh, I feel sorry for that stripper over there. Can I throw some ones? Because, she's skinny. And he's like, all right, I guess, feel bad for stripper day. So he ends up giving her money. So here he is getting finessed. Yeah, they'll take his money, but they're going to take it faster than anybody else. He sits there. And basically, this is where the episode just takes one of the smartest turns and most retarded lines I've ever heard in a TV show, and one of them, it drops just like dumb knowledge. So sitting there, and Al's like laughing. He's like, yeah, that's that girl. She's always been here. She's been here for 10 years. That's her little trick. She knows how to finesse people, make it look like she's some newbie. He's like, man, I thought you told me once I get the money, I'm going to make it. And this line right here, wow. Paperboy goes, this line by Paperboy, man. He goes, money is an idea, man. Excuse me, Professor Paperboy, do you mind prefacing that statement one more time? What was that? Money is just an idea, man? A white man can look like you, roll into a bank and get a loan, but you can't. You need to stop looking like everybody else and start acting like you're somebody above it so you get treated better. Man, dropping knowledge like it's going out of style. That line blew me away. Whew. That is just, man, that just the principle matters. Basically, this whole time Earn's having trouble trying to spend his big 100, trying to feel good about himself. Nobody would respect him because he didn't look like a dope dealer with big old chains or fat clothes or flashy. He didn't look like some business Wall Street guy, maybe in a suit all cleaned up. He just looked like some normal dude trying to pass around money, and no one believed that he even had the ability to get this 100. Talk about mind blown. Man, that line right there, that was the business. So they have this conversation. Paperboy dropping knowledge all on Earn. They end that night. And then you get a little fat cherry on top just to end it. So they coming out the club. He's feeling all depressed. Van's trying to cheer him up. And they go and see a group of people over here. And they're like, what's going on? They're like, oh, Michael Vick out here racing people. They're like, what? Michael Vick racing people? Is he broke? No, it's just a great hustle. And lo and behold, who's there? Mr. Michael Vick sitting there racing dudes. And one dude comes back and he's all, he fast, man. So they're like, oh, who's next? Who's next? What do you know? Earn want to run with the big boys, want to play like a big boy, steps his hand up, he's like, me, I'm next. All right, I'm in. So there you go. So Earn steps up and is about to handle his business. So he's sitting there, and he's standing next to Mike Vick, and he's about to get his little run on, and they do this great moment where they show him get off, like he's about to be super fast, and then they cut to the next scene, him and Van sitting in the limo, and he looks all depressed. She goes, it was Michael Vick, what you expect? That to me was absolutely fascinating. Like, that was hilarious. I mean, talk about a great way to end it. Don't show the race. That you don't need to show that. Just show that he was butthurt afterwards because he lost. Goodness gracious. This show has definitely stepped up its game. The intelligent writing is just another level. Man, episode 3. Talk about making up for last year's episode 3, which I felt like it had great moments, but it wasn't a strong one. This one right here was just some other level. Well, there you go, folks. There's a recap review of episode 3, Money Bag Shawty. So, yeah, come on back. Check me out next week. We'll have episode 4, and I don't know if you're watching Unsolved, but we got the Unsolved Murders of Biggie and Tupac watching every episode every week, so check that out. Also, last week's Atlanta right here, episode 2, Sporting Waves. Till next time, folks. Good night, Ted.